Recently, the British government refused your admission to England, even for an overnight stay, on the basis that your exclusion from the country was conducive to the public good. A few weeks later, the British Prime Minister authorized the use of military bases by American bombers to attack cities in Libya, saying that it was her duty to prevent the evils of terrorism. Please comment on the notions of good and evil expressed by the British government.
One has to understand that everything is relative, not ultimate. Hence, what appears to be good to one person may look evil to another. And there is no contradiction. Both may be right. What is good it depends on your preconceived ideas, and so is the evil. The British government thinks my entry, even for one overnight stay in England, is not conducive for public good. And the same government is ready to allow American bombers, missiles, and a base to destroy a small country like Libya. And to the government, this seems to be conducive to public good. There is no inconsistency. In their eyes, their society, their culture, their religion, their country has to be saved at any cost. Because they think they stand for good. Although the British government has tortured humanity more than any other government in the world. for 300 years it has been the greatest terrorist possible. It killed millions of people around the world to create the greatest empire of the history. This government is absolutely in tune with American imperialistic ideology. Out of necessity, it has been compelled to give freedom to countries, but not willingly and joyously. Those countries had to fight for almost 1 century. Without any arms, they were butchered without any consideration of human values. I am reminded in India there happened an incident which can be considered one of the most inhuman in history. In Amritsar, the holy place of the Sikhs, they have a beautiful public garden, a vast area that can contain at least 1 million people for any gathering, meeting, discourse, and it has been used for that purpose. It has a very high wall so that no traffic noise comes in, and it has only one door, so small that only one person can come or go in. 2 persons together cannot pass the door. They were having a silent meeting, almost 1 million people, children, women, old men. The prayer was that the British government should change its heart and should leave our country. Now, it is not terrorism. They are simply praying. for the change of the heart. And Colonel Dyer, who was in charge of the area, went there with his troops. And fixed machine guns and started firing. Because it is revolution against the empire. This prayer that you should change your heart. And there was only one door. And the door was shooting bullets at random with no discrimination. Children, women, old men. And nobody could escape from there because of the high wall. He killed the whole crowd. Not a single human being came alive out of that door. Now, it was their country. You have been terrorists. You have been ruling their country, exploiting their country. The country has been rich, known for thousands of years as a golden bird. That's how Pythagoras describes it. That's how Alexander the Great describes it. That so many invaders, but still India seems to be inexhaustibly rich. People come, invade the country, take away their treasures, take over their beautiful women. And this has been going on for thousands of years. The Britishers were the last. For 300 years, they excused every richness, the last drop of it from the Indian soil. And people are not even allowed to pray for the change of heart. This becomes an act against the empire. And there is no need for any magistrate, for any judge. There is no need for any trial. Just a colonel simply kills all those people. The British government has been one of the most ugly phenomenon as we know of. it created the biggest empire. It was said that in the British Empire the sun never sets, and it was true, because the empire was all around the earth. So it may set in one part, but it was rising into another part. There was not any gap. The sun was always in British Empire, rising. These imperialists have a deep sympathy, friendship with America. Naturally, it is for the public good. To allow American troops, to allow America a base to destroy a small country. And why to destroy Libya? Because the man who is leading Libya now is one of the most outspoken politicians in the whole world. Just few days before, Gaddafi said that Ronald Reagan is Adolf Hitler number 2. And I, commenting on it, said that Gaddafi is wrong, and he will agree with me when he understands my reason why I am saying he is wrong. Adolf Hitler himself is now number 2. Ronald Reagan is number 1 Adolf Hitler. Because what power Adolf Hitler had? Reagan has million times more power. Adolf Hitler could not destroy the world. Reagan can do that. To allow Reagan a base in England seems to the British government for the public good. Both are imperialist. Both are agreed to exploit people. Both are agreed that nothing like communism should happen in the world. Both are agreed that Christianity should be imposed on people who are not Christian. naturally, Ronald Reagan is a friend. And although he is going to do something inhuman, which may trigger the Third World War, because I understand Gaddafi. He is not a man to sit back, and he is not sitting back. He has a small country, but he is not just a politician but a warrior. He would like the country to die, but he would not allow the country to be enslaved. And I praise him for being a pioneer. He has responded well. Now he is bombing American bases all over Europe. He has bombed in Spain, in other countries. He is going to bomb in Greece. Wherever in Europe American bases exist, he is going to bomb them. And he will have the sympathy of all the downtrodden countries. He will rise as a world leader. Ronald Reagan may have the power, but will not have the sympathy. This imperialist government of Britain feels afraid of me. Just my overnight stay on the airport, I was not asking to enter into their country. And against their own laws, they denied me that. It is not good for their public. My overnight stay will have destroyed their morality, their religion. All their cherished values. There is something to understand clearly. I am against imperialism. I am against exploiting man, other human beings. I am against torturing people just so that you can have power. perhaps they were afraid that overnight mass sannyasins from all over England may gather. Just one night may be enough to give them a fresh insight, a new life, to go against all traditional values. And it is a conspiracy. Not only Britain is responsible for it. All those who are living and thriving on traditional values are really afraid of a man who has no power, except that he can show to people that their misery is caused by their own wrong ideas. And those wrong ideas are being emphasized by their government, by their church. So there is a conspiracy the whole European governments are agreeing on the point that I cannot land on their airports. They do not understand that this is defeatism, that they have already accepted defeat, that they are showing that they have no arguments to save their religion, their morality, their politics. It is all rotten. And they are afraid that their youth will be on my side, not on their side. And I can give them an open challenge to any country that let me speak to your young people and you speak to the same young people, and let it be decided by the people who are going to own the future. They know perfectly well they cannot defend anything that they believe. These efforts of preventing me are good signs. They are good news. It means they have accepted their defeat. Otherwise, what was the fear they could have allowed me to talk to the people? And they have their archbishops and popes and priests who could have demolished my arguments, and that would have been a cultured way, a human way. I am alone, they have millions of priests. But they don't have a single argument for anything that they think is the base of their society. Yes, it is not conducive to their rotten society. It may ring the death bell, but they cannot prevent me, because it is not me who is going to destroy. The rottenness, it is the time itself which is not in favor of them. If not me, then somebody else will have to do it. It is impossible to protect those societies, those governments, those churches. They have lost all roots, and they are aware of it, that just a push and they will fall down. They cannot even resist. Even that much power is not left. You can make a corpse stand, but if you push it, it cannot retaliate. It is bound to fall down. All these countries are corpses. And they don't want their youth to come in contact with anybody who can show to them that the old is dead and you have to find a new way of life. This is not a question of one country. It is a question of whole human past. Just a deep attachment, a deep conditioning. There is a beautiful story in India. Shiva is one of the Hindu trinity of gods. It is not called Trinity. It is called Trimurti, three faces of one God. Shiva is one. He fell in love with a beautiful woman, Parvati. And he loved her so much that when she died, he would not accept that she is dead. Nobody could dare to tell him that she is dead. And now it is time for taking her to the crematorium. On the contrary, he carried the corpse of Parvati on his shoulder all over India in search of some physician, some healer who will bring her back to life. You cannot carry a corpse. And it took 12 years for him to move around the country. It is a big country. Wherever he heard that there is some physician, he will went there, he will go there. In these 12 years, the parts of the woman he was carrying started falling. The hand fell, the leg fell, the head fell, but he was not worried about that. He was not even looking at her because he was afraid to look. Note that point. He was afraid to look at her because deep down he also knew that she is dead. But his mind would not like to believe it. He wanted to believe she is alive. Now she is not even whole. The head has fallen somewhere. The legs have fallen somewhere else. The hands have fallen somewhere else. India is a country of stories signifying tremendous meanings. Now there are 12 pilgrimage temples which are made on points where one part of Parvati fell, to give the story a real feeling of reality. 12 temples exist all over the country, representing because some part of Parvati had fallen there, they have become sacred. But Shiva remained completely blind, knowingly blind. And this is the situation of the world. The societies are rotten, the religions are dead, the politicians are only promising, knowing perfectly well They cannot fulfill any promise. The future is dark. But nobody wants to see it, that the past is dead, and if you go on clinging to the past, the future is going to become darker and darker. So I will be avoided by every country. I will be persecuted by every power. For the simple reason that I want to see them the reality. They are keeping their eyes closed. In logic, it is called the ostrich argument. The ostrich has a tendency, whenever it comes against an enemy and knows that death is certain, he simply puts his head into the sand. He lives in the desert. Eyes closed, head in the sand, he is perfectly happy, because he cannot see any enemy anywhere. But this does not eliminate the enemy. In fact, it makes the enemy more powerful. Now this ostrich is not going to do anything to escape, to fight, to negotiate, to do something. Now there is no question, he is simply available as food. And ostriches are eaten by their predators without any fight, because the ostrich is living with the idea that I don't see any enemy here. This ostrich argument is widespread today around the world. Nobody wants to see the reality, that you are sinking, that all your values are false, that all your civilization is hypocrisy, that all your smiles are just exercises of lips. There is no heart in it. That you have forgotten to live, to love, to laugh. That you don't know what life means at all. And you go on clinging because there is nothing else. There is no alternative. And I am being prevented because I can give you the alternative. I can show you that this is not the only way a society can exist. This is not the only way that a marriage can exist. This is not the only way that children can be brought up. This is not the only way that governments should function. There are alternate ways. But even to hear of the alternative, they are afraid that the message should not reach to the young, because the young are bound to be affected by the news that there is an alternative, that you need not remain in this miserable, continuously fighting, killing human beings unnecessarily. Now Libya is destroying American bases. America cannot remain silent. It will start destroying Libya, not only its military bases, but its civilians. It is a small country. But Libya knows that if America starts to destroy the civilians, then the whole East, particularly the Middle East, will be with it. And behind the curtain will be the Soviet Union. So if America has guts, it is not going to be a fight between America and Libya, which is very unbalanced. Libya has nothing to fight with one of the greatest nuclear powers. But Libya has the assurance of Soviet Union that don't be worried. Libya is just a facade, just a front. And once these two powers start fighting, they cannot resist not to use nuclear weapons. It is impossible. But the government of England is not afraid of this. The government of England should have prevented America. That this is not a right beginning. This is not conducive to public good. This will lead more and more into war. Don't take the first step, otherwise the last step will not be far away. But they would like to have a Third World War rather than to change human mind. Why? Because to change human mind means that for millions you have been behaving stupidly. That all your great ancestors have been simply fools and nothing else. They knew nothing about human consciousness. They were unconscious. They were blind, and blind people have been leading other blinds towards the goal of light. It seems it is difficult to accept that our whole past has been wrong. It is better to destroy the whole future, but remain stubborn that our past has been right. Let the man die, but save your ego. That will give you the clue why I am a danger just for an overnight stay. An American nuclear missiles are not dangers. They think alike, their mathematics is the same. To them, I am a dangerous person. Because I have no pride in the past. I am a dangerous person because I do not consider that for thousands of years man has lived intelligently. Otherwise, why so much misery? Why so much anxiety? Why so much anguish? The fruit shows the quality of the tree. And the fruit that we are having shows the whole human past went somewhere wrong. And just out of ego went on pushing in a wrong direction. And I am ready and willing to change my ideas if somebody can show me that they are wrong, that they will not lead to the good of the people. But nobody is ready to do that. They simply accept it. No argument is needed. No discussion is needed. The government of Spain was thinking for 1 month continuously whether to allow me in Spain or not. And they have nuclear bases for American army. They are members of NATO. And the man who is the Prime Minister became Prime Minister by promising the people of Spain that he will pull out of NATO and that he will order the American bases to be removed from Spain. And the people of Spain don't want, because they have seen Franco, who ruled for 40 years with absolute dictatorship, destroyed all freedom of thinking, killed anybody who said anything against him. After 40 years of this experience, this nightmare, they don't want to get into another nightmare again. They voted this man on a single point, that he was promising that he will pull out of NATO and force the Americans to leave Spain. 2 years have passed and the people have been asking what happened. You are not pulling out of NATO, and neither the American bases are moving out of Spain. In these 2 years, the man who had come to power, he was not a politician. But these 2 years has turned him into a politician. And he said that my experience of 2 years in power makes me change my idea. We are going to remain in NATO, and American bases are going to remain in Spain. It was such a betrayal. That people demanded voting on the point, a referendum. But the Prime Minister, the whole bureaucracy, the whole government is now for American military bases and membership of NATO. Still, they have not got a big majority. The young people of Spain have still voted against. 45% people have voted against NATO. But with the government and with all the powers, certainly they could manage to get just a little bit bigger number in favor. But if this man had any sense of dignity, he would have resigned, because he was chosen for a simple program. He was not chosen, the program was chosen. And because he has dropped the program, he should resign immediately. But these politicians seems to be so shameless, with no dignity, with no honor, with no self-respect. He wanted me to stay in Spain. But the problem was the American pressure. One month he went on postponing. He informed that I should not leak the news that Spain has invited me, because the royal family of Spain, the Prime Minister, the President, the Cabinet, they all will be on the airport to receive me. I am going to be their invited guest. So they will proclaim the date and time, and they will ask me but slowly, as he saw that 45% people can vote against him, to bring a man like me in the country is dangerous. Because these young people are bound to be influenced by me. The parliament decided that I should be welcomed. The cabinet decided that I should be welcomed. And finally, the Prime Minister informed that it will not be possible. Politically, it is difficult. I know the difficulty. The difficulty came after the referendum. And I have been telling John every day that if any decision has to be taken, it should be taken before referendum. After referendum, I don't see any hope. Because once he sees how many people can vote against him, he will not be courageous enough to invite a person who can influence his people. This is the fear. And the fear is now almost all over the world, in every country. Strange fears. In this small, beautiful country, I was told that we should not mention that we have 1 million sannyasins around the world and 3 million sympathizers, because that may become a fear, because this country has only 3 million people. And they would not like such a powerful man in the country who has 4 million people around the world. Who love him. The country should be proud to have someone, and I am not a political person. I am not going to have any political contest with anybody. But still, fear is fear. And all these powerful people are deep down very inferior and very fearful. They go on thinking the only thing in their mind is power. What can enhance their power and what can destroy their power? And they put conditions. The president of Greece was willing that I can have a commune in Greece. And in fact, he wanted it. His reasons were different, that it will bring thousands of tourists and that will boost the economy. In fact, he was the cause to allow me 4 weeks visa in Greece. But then came his conditions, that if I want to stay there and make a commune, then I should remember a few things. One, that the Greek Orthodox Church is respected by our constitution. You cannot criticize it. Family is our foundation. You cannot criticize it. Our code of morality, you cannot criticize it. We believe in virginity, you cannot criticize it. They certainly believe in virginity, but it is difficult to find a single virgin in the whole Greece. That's okay. But you should not criticize it. You can see the political mind. The reality can be tolerated, but it should not be exposed. I cannot accept anybody's conditions. Whatever happens to me, whatever the consequences, but to accept conditions, and that too for a little piece of land. I am reminded of the story of Leo Tolstoy. How much land does a man require? I may like to live without a country, a wanderer, in the true sense, because there have been wanderers, but they had a home base. I will be really a wanderer without any home base, being rejected from one country to another country. But their rejection of me is simply an acceptance of their defeat, their impotency. And sooner or later, they will have to pay for it, highly pay for it. Because in every country there are intelligent people. How long these intelligent people can tolerate this? Sooner or later it will become a revolution. Without my entering in those lands, I will find my friends there. I cannot lose hope, because I cannot see that intelligence is dead. It is repressed, but it is alive. It has become an undercurrent. But my rejection is going to provoke it to come to the surface. And soon there will be protests in every country which is denying me entry. In Italy, they have been postponing almost for 3 months just a 3 weeks tourist visa. And the President and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs all are saying that we are going to give him just tomorrow. And sannyasins are going every day. They are sitting there in their offices that whenever you want, we are ready. But when your tomorrow will come, and after 3 months they got so frustrated because Pope is holding them back. They cannot say no to the sannyasins because they have no reason to say no. And they know my impact in Italy. Just few days before, a television interview of 1.5 hours was seen by 34 million people. Unprecedented. The director informed me that we could not believe that so many people will be interested in you. You have never come to this country. No other program in his whole life has attracted so many people. And not only the show is finished in 1.5 hours, but people are discussing each and every point in the marketplace, in the university, everywhere. Somebody is for, somebody is against, but everybody is intensely involved. So the government could not say no, because that may create trouble. And the Pope is insisting that I should not be allowed in Italy. So they go on postponing. Finally, the sannyasins got so frustrated that they started making a protest. And one of the most famous Italian film director, Fellini, has signed first, and they have 36 other world-known people who have signed the protest, and they are collecting more names. And I have never been there. But one thing is certain, whether you agree with me or not, I cannot be prevented to present my views, my perspective to the people. And what is happening there will happen in Germany, will happen in Greece, will happen in England, will happen in Spain, is going to happen everywhere. Sannyasins have to create a worldwide chain of protests signed by all the important creative artists, novelists, musicians, sculptors, dancers, actors, directors, people of all dimensions who have made an impact on the world. Collect their names for the protest, first in every country, and then a final protest to the UNO, with all the protests of all the countries together. Because now it is not a question of one country. If European Parliament decides that I cannot land even my plane on their airports, you cannot now take me just as an individual. I have become representative of a worldwide intelligence, creative, talented people. That is my country. And my sannyasins have to reach to the UNO. Because this is simply ugly. But as I said in the beginning, it is something relative. To me, it is ugly. And to all those who can understand, it will be ugly. But to those who believe in the ostrich logic, it is good. It is for public good. But we will show to the world that what is good for the public and what is bad for the public.
I was one of those who was taken for a ride when the list of enlightened people was announced, because I thought, if Osho says I'm enlightened, why not try it out? I enjoyed it. I threw a party for 100 or so friends, and for the next 6 months, until I became endarkened again, tried to use what I saw as a really potential situation. The main thing I saw was that I really am okay. Am I kidding myself about that experience?
No, if you can understand it, you cannot kidding. First, let me explain few other things. After I declared few people enlightened, Santosh was also one of them. He wrote me a letter. That your declaration of my enlightenment gives me no excitement. But my being accepted as a member of the committee of the enlightened ones makes me feel very great. I sent him the message that why your being enlightened does not make you feel excited. The reason is that you think that you are already enlightened. And that is not true. That's why your becoming a member of the Committee of the Enlightened makes you feel great that at last your enlightenment has been recognized. It is not a declaration for you, but a recognition you have been enlightened long before. But if enlightenment is not an excitement, then how it can be a great thing to be member of the party or the committee of enlightened people? If enlightenment itself makes no sense to you, then being the member of the committee cannot make any sense. Except this, that it fulfills your ego. You were enlightened and nobody was taking note of it. Finally, I have recognized it, and now you are part of the committee of the enlightened people. So it is sealed. But you are wrong, because it was all a joke. The committee was a joke. The declaration was a joke. And it was a device. Somindra immediately gave a telegram. To Tirtha, saying that I have got it. What about you? He was continuously a competitor. That was his problem. That he should be higher than Tirtha. And this was a good chance. He has dropped sannyas. He has been not in any contact with us, but my declaration of his enlightenment, that he accepts. Sannyas he has dropped. He is no more part of my family. But enlightenment immediately. A telegram, I have got it. What about you? It was a device to see how people react. Your response to it was perfectly beautiful. Your response was, if Bhagavan says I am enlightened, I must be. It simply shows trust, love. It has nothing to do with ego. And you're throwing a party and rejoicing the moment with your friends was perfectly right. And when I said it was a joke, you were not angry. You simply took it again the same way. That if Bhagwan says, I am not enlightened and it was a joke, so perhaps I am not enlightened and it was really a joke. And the 6 months that you lived as enlightened, the joy and the peace and the serenity that you felt was not of enlightenment, that was of trust and love. It was a good experience for you. But different experiences happen to different people. There were only 2 Indians in the group who were declared enlightened. And they understand traditionally what enlightenment means. One was Vinod Bharati. He became very nervous, was crying, came to Vivek to give me the message that Bhagwan, I am not enlightened. And you have created trouble for me. I cannot say you are wrong. And I know perfectly well myself that I am not enlightened. So what I am supposed to do, I am just torn apart. You just tell me the truth. He knows about enlightenment. He knows for centuries in India, enlightenment has been the ultimate peak of his spiritual search. In the West, the very idea has never existed. So he cannot conceive himself as Gautam Buddha. And he cannot deny me because he loves me and trusts me. So I can see his trouble. So I sent him the message, don't be worried, it was just a joke. You are not enlightened. Relax. Until he heard that he is not enlightened, he could not sleep for 2 days. Then he relaxed that he is not enlightened. There is no problem. The other man was Swami Anand Maitreya, who was the only one who understood the joke immediately. Because as he left the room, he said, Bhagwan is really a rascal. Saying to me that I am enlightened proves it. But he was also an Indian, and particularly comes from Bihar, where most of the enlightened people happened in India. Gautam Buddha, Mahavira, Parshvanatha, Neminatha, Adinatha, a long series of enlightened people, all 24 enlightened masters of Jainas, Gautam Buddha, they all happened in Bihar. So Bihar has the most deep understanding and experience of enlightenment. So naturally he said that Bhagwan is a rascal. But it was also his love. But he was not disturbed, because once you know that it is a joke, there is no question of any difficulty about it. Few people simply remain silent. They neither reacted this way or that. That too is good. They were not affected by it. They simply remained themselves as they were. If Bhagwan says it is enlightenment, it may be. If he says it is not, it may not be. But it does not make any difference to them. They remain aloof and detached. And it was a good experience to see how people react to a single idea with their different minds. Those who were not included in the committee were angry. I received few letters that if these people have become enlightened, then why I have not become enlightened? As if it was something that you have given to these people, and why you have not given it to me? Somebody wrote that I have been longer with you than these people, and I am not enlightened yet. You have forgotten me or what? But it was good to know how people react Your reaction was perfectly beautiful. On both the ends, if Bhagavan says it is enlightenment, it must be. That is a simple trust. And if he says it is not, then you don't feel any contradiction or inconsistency. You simply accept it, that if he says it is not, then it must not be. You have transcended the world of consistencies, inconsistencies. Love knows no contradiction. It knows no comparison. Each moment it is available.